everyone. It's Jacob Buchanan with Achilles Mortgage, presenting Mortgage and Muscles. Today I have Mr. Adam with Coldwell Banker, Vanguard Realty.
Hey, y'all.
Here. So we're going to talk about the industry, of course, staying fit, what's going on in real estate. You know, the presidency is around the corner.
That's right. Get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
Or if this doesn't come out until after you vote, I hope you voted.
Yeah, and we all, vote for different people depending on. But get out and take advantage of your rights, right? So that's a big thing. So Adam, if you want to give us a little bit of background how you got into the industry, how long you've been doing it for?
Great. So as Jacob, my friend said, I'm with Coldwell Banker Vanguard. I've been with them since 2020, but I've been an active agent since 2019. And I've been in the industry as a residential sales associate. And I love the industry. I got into the industry out of a mindset change, actually, which is pretty mindset change.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a touring musician for most of my life and transitioned after having
guy could blow, actually.
having my first son, and decided I didn't want to tour anymore. So I was searching for something, and it led me from one space to another, and I ended up a realtor. So.
We might actually post a YouTube video of one of your performances. Okay. That would be cool, right? Wouldn't that be cool?
Do it.
Let's do that. So, Adam actually helped me sell my home, my first home, actually a couple years back. So that was a great introduction to seeing how the selling side works. Selling your home, I know how to purchase, but selling, that's a totally different animal.
100%.
Yeah. So if you want to kind of describe difference between listing and that's kind of your focal point, more or less, right?
Yep. I mainly am a listing agent, and it's a very different animal than being on a buyer's side, but I do also work with buyers. But listings take a very specific skill set to be able to help sellers find the value in their home that they know can get them to the place they got to get to afterwards, which is to the next house a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Whether they're moving to one place or staying within the same area, it takes a lot of moving parts to get those things done. And Jacob, you were part of that too. And we saw every aspect of it. I think at one point we realized that your home was listed as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Yeah. And, through resources and friends that I've met along the way, I was able to get that county tax roll changed during the listing so that we reflected the proper 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home for your home. And we could list it at that price.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that go into that, but a lot of people wouldn't know those things if they don't stay active and do this full time, which I'm a full-time agent.
Yeah. And one thing that, a lot of people don't understand is the prep work. You get your home ready to be the pictures and people come in to visit the home. So I remember I had to fix this and fix that. And those are just things that you need to account for when you're getting ready to sell the home.
You got to look at it through the buyer's eyes is how I like to say it. Sellers, they love their home, but I'm selling their house. Mm-hmm. Right. So home and house is two different things. And to separate that also takes a transition and mindset to think about it through a buyer's eyes. Depersonalizing a home is one of the key aspects to help shoot the home properly with a camera and be able to advertise and market that home properly. If you have too much personalization in a home, it can also be very distracting to a buyer. So it's important to have your home professionally shot, which is something that I also offer as a service that I do for my sellers.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense. Kind of make it a blank slate.
Yeah.
What would you say right now in today's market right now, what is this, November the 4th, I think?
Yeah.
What's
day before voting.
So for sure. What would you say is right now for listing your home, specifically in Duval? What are you looking at? What is kind of things that buyers or sellers should be aware of?
The market. You have to know where your home is going to get absorbed. And the absorption rate is something that a lot of people don't talk about. It's how fast your home will sell in the current market. You want to be the one who is on the market in the shortest amount of time, which typically will bring you the highest offer. If the longer a home stays on market, you tend to not get those stronger offers. Mm-hmm. So it's important first to be aware of the market and be really honest with yourself and what your goals are. So, as a listing agent, it's not my job to tell you what your home is worth. But if you have a story and you need to get somewhere, then that will also determine how we price it. So I think the strongest thing any seller could do is come to the market not overpriced.
Overpriced.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this for sometimes, even some homes I've even get financed, is having a home that's on the market for 90 days. How do you feel about taking it off for a couple of weeks and putting that back on? Is that a good strategy that people are using, or what was your opinion on that? I'm just always curious.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of strategies. I've presented that in other ways with challenging listings that do come up. But when you pull a home off market, it's important to understand that you have to have a talk with your seller in order to really reset those days on market. It takes about 30 full calendar days
Okay, so
of
there's a time frame.
of an expiration of your listing. So you can't just pull it off the market and withdraw it from there. You have to expire the listing completely. And when you
Okay.
do that, you tend to open up your sellers to a bombardment of people who want to now sell their home because they think that you couldn't effectively sell. So there's a little of a gamut that runs through that too.
Did not know that. Did not know
But
that
a
at all.
full 30-day reset does help position your home differently. And we were talking about absorption. When you are sitting on 3.5 to 4.5, maybe even 5 months of inventory, it's important that your home is seen first and quicker. So if you have a listing that's been there to wipe it from everyone's mind, yes, you can reset it at 30 days. But then I also suggest a whole new marketing plan, maybe a reshoot of the home. The trending things that are helping sell homes now are virtual walkthroughs, the click through 3D walkthroughs.
3D walkthroughs.
100%. I think the statistic is something where 70 to 80% of all home buyers are viewing your home with those 3D walkthroughs, the clicking ones that are great. A great website that also showcase your property is a good way to market it too. But pulling it off is definitely a strategy. I've done that strategy. I actually had success earlier this year doing that strategy with the home. We were able to get it back on market after 30 days and under contract within 2 weeks after that. And it was a challenge before that too.
Got you, got you. So if someone reached out to you directly, we're kind of like, let's give us 2 points of using Adam specifically rather than any other realtor right now.
Yeah,
based upon your knowledge. Yeah.
As you will know, and as I was with you in the beginning, I'm an honest person. I'm not going to tell you that we can list it there and see how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you where it's going to sell, at least in a range, so that you can be confident that when we do list your home, we're going to get showings, and those showings are going to lead to offers, and those offers are going to lead to negotiating. And in the negotiating arena, I am definitely well adapted doing that too. So I think my strengths are in being honest and being able to advocate.
Yeah. I think when we were listing my home, I think I wanted a little higher, and you kind of brought me down, and it was reasonable. And we saw, I think, like 2 weeks, I think it was something like that.
We
the market was a little different, but
and your timeline is different from everyone else. Mm-hmm. And you needed it to do it at a specific time for a specific reason. True. And that was so you could then close on your home. And we met that goal.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So for me, it's the goals of the sellers become my goals. And those are the things that I'll always 100% work for. But I also will be honest. Yeah. And I won't take a listing if I think that you're also just wanting to list it high, because it doesn't help me or you. For me to put my sign on the ground and it not sell, mm-hmm. looks bad on me. But at the same time, it doesn't help you as well, because the longer that home sits there, you're going to be asking more questions.
Why is it more frustrated? Yeah. No, that's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So right now the market is kind of, I don't want to say plateauing, but it is doing what it's doing. Rates have gone back up since the Feds met a month and a half ago. The unemployment came out on Friday of last week. It's not as good as what they projected it. The rates are fluctuating, from what I see as a broker, 4 times a day, pretty much. It's kind of interesting. The presidency is coming around. What do you think, or have you heard what's going on in the next three last quarter here?
Oh man, I wish I had a crystal ball, right?
Yeah.
I think it was 2020, beginning of 2023. I was saying, all of my industry experts in the lending field are saying that interest rates will come down. And then we get into 24 and interest rates kind of peaked, and then they kind of shuttered a little bit down. And we saw that the Fed was going to bring us a couple point changes. They were going to do 4 before the end of the year, 1/8 of a point here. They did completely nothing to really help the buyers in this case. And I guess the ebb and flow is typically like interest rates are up, prices go down.
Yeah.
Interest rates go down, prices go up.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is prices are remaining firm because sellers have a perception of loss of equity mm-hmm. when they're reducing their home, because they didn't position it properly, and those days on market are lasting longer. And then buyers are also feeling that they don't want to come to the table because the interest rates are high. But I like to remind people that a home loan is 30 years. It is not 5 years. And if you're looking for COVID equity and COVID pricing and COVID interest rates, that ship has sailed.
It's gone.
It's not going to
It may
happen.
never come back
It
in our
may never.
lifetime.
And
Yeah.
if it does happen in our lifetime, it is on a cycle of at least 18 to 25 years, guaranteed. So in that time frame, if interest rates stayed at 6%, but then you still were able to refinance at 4% and save you a couple $100 a month on your mortgage, but you now own something, I think that's more important than kind of playing the sideline game.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of customers that aren't owners. They're just friends now because we've just stayed in contact over the last 5 years that wish they had bought when they did. And they listen to a lot of people, but not
professionals,
just professionals.
And
a lot of people.
That's the thing. So get into the home. They say, marry the home, date the rate.
Date the rate. Exactly.
You just want to date the rate. And depending on the type of person you are, you can change that out when the market.
That's right.
Yeah, when it's called for.
Yeah.
And don't forget the appreciation of the home as well. Because when the rates go down, usually, like you said, values will go up. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. And in Florida, you are homesteaded state. So you can homestead your property, receive a deduction for your taxes on the taxable value of your property. Mm-hmm. And that is portable over to the next home that you decide to purchase too. I think we grabbed yours and brought it over to this side too. And it saved, it's going to eventually. You haven't seen it yet, I don't think.
I think actually, it's funny you say that. Okay. My escrow saying my taxes are a little higher than my tax bill just came in. I sent them an email this morning.
Yep.
So I should get an extra refund.
You'll see it within it'll take you about 2 years, but you should see it start to reflect with your homestead. You'll also see Save Our Homes credit in the state of Florida that you can port over as long as you homestead another residence in Florida. So it's great to own real estate.
We may have to look at that bill together after we get done with this.
I'll find it.
I think I have it right there. What else would you say? What other concerns that people should kind of alleviate from their thought process looking to buy right now, especially the holidays coming? This is actually a good time to buy, would you say? It's like buying a car, right?
I think so, because I think that we're going to see a larger increase of inventory come the first of the year. The holiday months in Florida, at least and from what I'm familiar with, they don't go away, but there is a small little lull. So you have an opportunity now potentially to take advantage of builder pricing as well. Mm-hmm. Builders tend to give you a little more incentive at the end of their quarter season, especially towards the end of the year. So getting into a home right now could be beneficial. And I think even through the first of the year, I still think inventory is going to increase. Right now, we're at about 4.5 months of inventory. So it may turn into a plateaued market, probably even switch to a buyer's market before you know it, in which case you'll have more competition as a buyer, to be able to get out there,
Yeah. Because when it's a buyer's market, you're able to request more, but as a seller's market, you're not going to get that seller concession and things like that. So you got to play that
That's
game
why it's important to price it properly so that the buyers will dictate the market. A buyer will buy, a seller will sell, but a buyer will only buy what a buyer is willing to pay for. That's about as true as it gets.
Yeah. Well, one thing about this that we'd like to talk about real estate, but we also like to talk about muscles. So again, this is Mortgage and Muscles. If you wanted to flex on them real quick, Adam.
I got some of that.
So my man Adam here he's an avid runner.
I'm an avid runner. Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, just give us a little bit what you got going on.
So I run. I love to run all distances. I run 5Ks up to half marathons, working to full marathons now. I just completed the Cottonmouth quarter marathon over the weekend on Saturday in Hastings at the Sykes Family Farm, which is a great farm.
We've been there a few times.
It's so cool.
Full of berries. Yeah,
I love it. And they did the quarter marathon there. So I ran it with a friend of mine, and she got first overall female. And I got first in my age bracket. I'm 45. So them 45 to 50 runners, I don't know what it is. They turn into lightning.
Really?
I don't know, man. I've been competing against people running 20-minute, 5Ks. Anyway, I ran that one. I got first place in my age bracket. Ran it in 48 minutes and 48 seconds.
Wow.
6.5 miles.
That's moving though. That's definitely, you might catch me do a mile-ish. Mile-ish.
I love it though, man. It's something I got into, a number of years ago, and I kind of plateaued as my distance went, but then through customers that I brought into the area, they were avid runners. They were actually professional runners.
Okay.
And got me into more distance running. And now we run together pretty regularly. We do a number of races. I do the Gate, I do the Donna, I do the Ameris. So we're getting into all of these different races, and it's actually opened up another
Networking.
yeah, well, not only that, like a community of people that I'm recognizing at these races, and they're recognizing me, and now we're high fiving when we're finishing. It's just a really cool community. So I love getting outdoors. I like getting in my head. I don't run with music. I used to, but I don't run with music now. I like to think. I have a lot of time to do that, and I do it when I run.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
better. My back won't let me do that. That's
just
maybe I
run
should start.
slower.
Maybe I should start. I don't
Get you
we'll
some, get
see.
you some, some nice shoes. I
Yeah.
use zero drop shoes, meaning they're completely flat, even though I have a high arch,
Mm,
but they work really well to help me know where I need to strike properly. Because injury can happen, but it took me about 2 or 3 years to figure out how to strike properly as a runner. You don't just
like
go
your
run.
pattern of your foot.
Yeah. You don't just go run.
Okay.
You have to find the right shoes.
Okay.
The
So
shoes are the
shoes.
most important thing for me in running.
So you feel like it's not stretching, it's
Oh
not.
yeah, I mean, you got to stretch,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but when you're going, 10 to, and my max, and I want to get higher, but I'm at 10 to 15 miles. I mean, I got to feel comfortable when I'm doing that, so stretching and hydrating, stretching, weight training. That's definitely something that you need to do if you want to get faster, but the shoes are the tool. You
Okay.
really want to have that.
Well, you got a brand in mind that you're thinking of, or
I use, as far as the shoes go, I use Ultras, Ultra
I've
shoes.
never heard of those.
Yeah, they're great, and I run with Alter Ego hats.
Gotcha.
This hat is right.
Hey, sponsor them. There
That's
we
right.
go.
That's right. Florida man.
Florida man.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you want to talk about? Diet or talk about certain like exercises that keep you in the?
I mean, so diet wise, I'm a whole food eater. I don't eat fast food. I don't eat processed. I drink a ton of water every day. And I think as far as process goes, I don't have a routine. Man, I get up, I drink about 8 ounces of water, and I just go. I just
Okay.
go. That's it.
Man,
I try to fast, a couple times a week, 12 to 24 hours.
oh, like you just go ahead and just not eat
Full
for.
fasting. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
just randomly.
Yeah. Yeah. Intermittent fasting is,
I do intermittent. Yeah.
I mean, intermittent fasting will help regenerate it actually
It'll
eats that
shock your
dead
nervous
cells
system.
and
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
get your immune system and everything back boosted up. So intermittent fasting, we're in a culture of, not gluttony, but of accessibility when it comes to food.
For sure.
And when we feel like we're hungry, we feel like we have to eat, but
Mhm.
it's just not the case. You need to give your body time to be hungry so that that will pass. And they tend to say that a couple ounces of water will definitely alleviate some of that hunger sometimes.
No, for sure.
And don't starve yourself, of course, people, but but eat well, take care of yourself, because most of everything that happens to us and yourself and inflammation in the body is from the food you eat, everything you intake. You have got to be more conscious about that.
Every so often I'll randomly like skip dinner and not eat breakfast the next day, and I'll start lunch. So that's kind of a nice little fast right there.
Yeah. Dinner's actually the worst one for you.
Yeah, it is.
Because it sits in your belly, especially if you don't eat until later. So breakfast is good, lunch is okay, but dinner's the one that you should avoid, because you will get 12 full hours if you stop eating at 2 o'clock.
Yeah. But they say even like in our society, it should go breakfast. The largest meal should be lunch, and then dinner's supposed to be small lunch, if anything.
Yeah, because you're metabolizing.
Yeah. You're not using your calories at that point.
Yep.
No, very interesting.
We
can talk about that a little bit more.
All day.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll just do this. I'm just lifting weights. That's all I do right now. So let's talk about the market just a little bit more.
Sure.
The rates are going to do what they do after the presidency. That happens every single 4 years. No matter if the president wins or loses, they're going to do this.
Yeah.
So that's going to have some type of control of what's going to happen with house prices. But at the end of the day, what should you tell the person that's on the editor seat? They want to sell, they want to buy.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing better than owning a property and owning a home and creating wealth for yourself and your family. And owning real estate is the way to do that. It is an appreciating asset. I think from what I've read in the time since they've ever had mortgages in existence, appreciation has only had negative amortization. I think only 3 years the entire time there's ever been a mortgage. So you will gain equity in a home as long as you maintain that residence, and keep it current.
Yeah,
I think it's just so important to be a homeowner. It gives you and affords you a lot of things that you may not necessarily know you need until you may need them. And equity in a home allows you freedom to do things like pulling out a refi to be able to put a child through college, or or use that equity for anything that you really want to, whether it's a HELOC or those types of things that you can do. There's ways to get creative with it, but that asset can also help you leverage other assets that you'd like to buy if you want to get into, you know, more property. If you want to buy more property and do that, you can leverage that asset that way too.
I have a lot of people right now purchasing investment homes with a home equity line, or a lot of people, we're all in credit card debt to a certain extent. You could tap into that equity with a home equity line and pay that off and consolidate that. And the rates are all much more aggressive than a credit card. So that's a lot of things people don't talk about. That equity is tangible to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So as a listing agent, you don't really work with the financing, but as a buyer's agent, who do you kind of recommend for your financing for your clients?
I guess it really just it would depend on the client, right? So every client, I think, you know, I'd send them to you because I know that you work with hard money. You work with some of those more aggressive types of you know, loans with when it comes to investment, and also I think the buyer in a lot of ways will have their lender in their pocket of what they like to do, but I also like to give people multiple options, because I think that when you're in the pre-approval process, you can shop those to be able to find whatever works for you. I mean, you know, a lot of times mindset, like we were talking about the election, you know, that's a mindset thing to assume that one person is going to be able to dictate the 30-year future of yourself. So I don't believe that. I believe that everyone thinks differently, and I think whatever they are truly comfortable with is what I'm always comfortable with.
Gotcha.
You know, and even on a buyer's, when I do work with buyers, you know, I advocate for them to shop.
Yeah.
You know?
And just to follow up with that, you do want to shop, but I think you shop at a pre-approval process, but shop again once you go under contract.
Sure.
You're going to have to, if you didn't get a hard credit pull at that point, you'll get it pulled then. Give them like 3-day time frame and shop that deal around. Don't have to usually get your credit pulled, but you can leverage the lenders. And if you come to a broker, I can leverage them on your behalf.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're doing that too, make sure that you give them all the pertinent information of the house. And if you can get your 4-point over to them faster, that can also help you as well. And then you can shop in insurance too. You know, all that stuff should happen in those inspection periods when you're working with it.
You get that contract, that's 72 hours. You should be on the phone, email, making a few phone calls.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Adam,
but I'm on your show, so I'm recommending you.
Recommend me.
I'm recommending Jacob all day.
Adam, brother, appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
Sure. We got to hang out some more.
Always.
If you have any questions or concerns, wanted to contact us on the bottom of the video, our contact information, website, phone number, email, check in. Appreciate it.